Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I am your host, Dennis Batholkus, and this is The Tick, Season 2, Episode 4, Blood and Cake. And sorry about that. I just kind of got a little bit something there just as I went online, which is always the best way of doing that. Yeah. Um, so before we get started here, I'm going to say spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the episode, I am going to spoil the shit out of it. So go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. It's already been out for a while now. So, I mean, the whole season. So you should be able to go out and go and see it and not be spoiled by it. So, where do we start? Maybe at the beginning is where we start off at. Let's see. We have Miss Lint posing as Joan of Arc, of course, making the news. And the Tick tells Arthur that maybe this is her arc of redemption, as he says. And then we also see that Superion has taken it upon himself that his gift to mankind is carving a gigantic statue of himself saving a person out of Devil's Tower. So he kind of just rips down Devil's Tower and makes a giant, well, he makes a partial statue. He gets stopped in the middle of it because people are not too happy. Tick and the Arthur, Tick and the Arthur, the Tick and Arthur, there we go. God, it's been a long day. Have Donnie's shoe, and of course they want to find out what kind of sediment might be on it. So they go over to Aegis to see if they can use the lab over there. But Flexon lets them know that all the departments are in meetings, so everything is closed down for the most part. And they're like, in meetings for what? And he points up at the screen and like, oh yeah, that's right, because it's the whole Superion thing that's going on. And yeah, it's and I love how the Tick's like, well, someone needs to talk to that guy, and Arthur just keeps trying to avoid all those questions, of course. And Bronze Star enters, and Flexon goes, I know that guy, and he goes over to say hi to Bronze Star. It seems like everyone knows Bronze Star, which is kind of a running joke later on, but we'll get to that, as the episodes go on. Tick has the idea of going over the danger boat to go and get the shoe analyzed, and Arthur is kind of conflicted about it because he knows that danger boat has some feelings for him and wants a relationship with him, and he doesn't know how he wants to handle that, of course. And he's, as he puts it, he's not even sure about what he wants, kind of thing. So yeah, kind of a weird little thing that they've got going on there. Dot, in the meantime, is doing Krav Maga still in her apartment, just really wailing the hell out of a heavy bag. When Overkill, of course, breaks into her apartment again, and she goes to kick him. She swings around and kicks him, and he grabs her leg, of course. And he tells her that, he had talked to Rathbone, and that Rathbone told him that the Duke is still, alive, possibly. And she goes, wait a minute. So this guy who's supposed to be dead is possibly still alive. And he goes, yeah. And she says, kind of like the Terror. He goes, yeah, kind of like you. Yeah. And of course, no one's seen any of the irony and all of that kind of stuff, that all these guys are still alive. And Danger Boat, of course, might have caught his trail. So he's going to go out on a mission and kind of shows Dot what's going on, that the Duke is now involved in, he has some high-end clients for high-end furniture, and the furniture is made out of humans. As Dot puts it, she's looking at one of the diagrams of a woman that's bent over backwards, kind of thing. And he goes, this woman's a lazy boy. Some weird shit. And this is not the first time we've seen humans as furniture in not just this season of TV alone. We also had it in Deadly Class as well. So yeah, just a little bit of weird stuff going on there. I don't know who in the hell comes up with these kind of ideas, but hey. So the Tick and Arthur, of course, go on over to Danger Boat, and they put the shoe on the table there because Danger Boat has the danger table, and to analyze this. And of course, he scans it, And the Tick starts asking questions of Dangerboat, like, "Hey, what about the other brethren that we saw over at Aegis? Can you fly?" And Dangerboat starts glitching and saying, I identify as a boat. I identify as a boat." And yeah, that's when Dot and Overkill walk in, and the door shuts. And something's wrong a little bit here because, first of all, Arthur wants to know what the hell Dot's doing there with Overkill, and she says, "Well, I might be going on a mission with him," and he's kind of pissed off about this because he doesn't want her going on a mission. And I love how they kind of work in the actors thing too. She goes, "Well, I just don't want to be a one note character coming in on a side mission, just to kind of support your mission." And he goes, "It's not a small part," is what Arthur says about her role, which I thought was kind of a nice little. It was a funny thing that Ben Edlin had put in there. Um, and of course, Overkill notices that Dangerboat is glitching. He's like, "What's going on, buddy?" And yeah, things are a little bit glitchy at this point. And that's when the Tick notices. He says, "Well," he goes, "all I said was, I asked him about his other brethren, his, why he doesn't fly." And of course, Overkill's like, "You don't ask him about that kind of stuff. That's the thing that, sets him off." And we start hearing MacArthur Park playing, and our Overkill tells him to check the door, and the door is locked. And there's a countdown timer. And they're like, "What's the countdown timer for?" He goes, "That's how long we have left to live." So, yeah. In the meantime, Miss Lint and Joan of Arc are talking to, or Joan of Arc, I should say, Miss Lint, Joan of Arc. So I had it as a slash there. They're talking to Frank about how she's taken down all of her rivals. And Edgelord, of course, wants her to work a little bit more on her social media game. And he's hired some people, overseas to pump up her numbers. I could use those people, that'd be nice. And she ends up, of course, well, he also tells her that people are starting to talk, that they're starting to recognize her. And she goes, "What?" And he goes, "Well, it doesn't help that, of course, you are hitting all of your old rivals." And Frank, of course, keeps saying, "Well, we've taken down everybody. Why don't we just start robbing things? There's a whole bunch of things that we could do." Because I got this one sweet gig, and she's like, "Fine, go and do it." And Edgelord, says, "Maybe you should start hitting other things other than your own rivals." And that's when she starts thinking about what she needs to do in order to up her superhero game, if you will. Danger Pote, in the meantime, is preparing to sanitize the inside of the ship by his interior by raising it to 1800 degrees. And again, this is triggered because the Tick asked him if he could fly. And, Overkill says, "You never ask him if he can fly. He's a boat. That's what he is. You tiptoe around certain things. He's actually got a lot of PTSD. And, you don't look at him funny," is what. And I was thinking of Happy Fun Ball. It's an old SNL skit about "You do not taunt Happy Fun Ball." And it was just one of those things that just made me laugh. But and he says, yeah, one time he had an argument with Dangerboat, and luckily he was outside, and Dangerboat shut down and fried everything on the inside. So all his clothes, all his CDs, his shaving kit. He says everything except for the faux ham, because the faux ham was invincible, and only the faux ham survived. So they tell, Dot's like, "Well, Tick, why don't you just go rip off the door?" And he's like, "All right." And he goes towards it, and Overkill's like, "Don't." He goes, "If you do that, he's going to go up like a Tijuana firecracker." And yeah, so it's just basically going to set him off early at this point. So Overkill tries to get Danger Table's basic operating system up and running, and figuring that he can maybe shut it down that way. Something from the inside, of course. In the meantime, Frank is stealing some stuff when who shows up at Miss Lint, or Joan of Arc. And she says, "Sorry, Frank, I have to do this." And he's like, "Sorry for what?" And then she goes into superhero mode, "Evil doers," and fries them, which I thought was kind of funny because, of course, she needs to save a little face and save her own face from being outed as Miss Lint and getting arrested as the terror's accomplice. Um, and so they're arguing inside the danger boat at this point, and I love how Tick says that Dot. He says you're an enabler for Overkill being able to kill again. So that was one of the other things too, is that Dot had saved Overkill's life. So she was able to, or actually, he saved her life. So she was able to grant him a wish, and that wish was to undo the Tick's wish. And the Tick's wish, of course, was to make sure that Overkill doesn't kill. So now he can kill again. And that was the other thing, is the Tick was actually looking at Overkill and going, "You look a little different, a little more violent-y." And he's like, "No, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong at all." And yeah, so Dot has undone that, of course, and the Tick is kind of pissed about it, and he calls her an enabler, uh, enabling Overkill to kill. And Overkill says he may be able to get them out of there. He's overridden the shower system and can get them to go all get fired out of Danger Boat's gun ports, basically. And so he's, digging around in the guts there of Danger Boat. And Arthur asks what happened to Danger Boat. And I love how, Overkill says, "It's not my story to tell." And he turns back towards the equipment. Then he turns back again. "It all started before I knew Danger Boat, back before he went rogue." And of course, we hear Danger Boat's origin story, which is Agent Michael King was Danger Boat's original partner. He worked with Aegis, and when Danger Boat became sentient, he didn't tell Aegis anything about it. He actually nurtured Danger Boat's, intellect. And on the first anniversary of Danger Boat's becoming aware, self-aware, Michael had a cake and he was wishing him a happy birthday and everything. They were best of friends. They always watched movies, The Princess Bride especially. And Danger Boat lost focus for a second. And so they were flying at the time. And Michael yells out, "Danger Boat, look out!" Because we just see them flying towards something. We don't know exactly what it is. And Michael went through the grate in the back there, kind of like cheese through a cheese grater, as they said. So, yeah, pretty nasty way to go. And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna follow suit if we don't, stop this from happening." So, you know, Overkill reaches inside, fries his hands, and he tells Dot, "It's now, you have to do this. You have to be my hands." He goes, "You're the only one that can do this." He goes, "See that glowing blue wire?" She's like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's Danger Boat's spinal cord. You're gonna have to snap it and kill him. That's the only way we're gonna getting out of here." And of course, the Tick doesn't want to kill him. Arthur doesn't want to kill him. And Arthur says, "Give me a sec. Let me try and reach him." So he goes and talks to Danger Boat and says, he commiserates with him and says about losing people. And it's tough to lose people, and how you never get over them. And, he talks about his dad, how he never got over his dad. And, but he remembers him and all this kind of stuff. And Danger Boat comes back. And Danger Boat, of course, tells Arthur that he loves him and stops the countdown at 2 seconds left, of course. And he opens the door as well. So they all get outside. And of course, the Tick, takes in lungs of fresh air, lungfuls of fresh air. So Arthur still doesn't want Dot to go on the mission with Overkill. And she goes, "Well, you're going to go on this mission with the Tick down into the sewers with the amnesiac," as she says. So it was kind of a funny little thing. And he's like, "All right, I'll concede that." And I love the Tick. He says, "Aren't we just ships at sea, passing each other in the night, getting bored and boarding each other while the waves wave on by?" I mean, that's a very, very tickism. Oh my God. So Danger Boat asks to speak to Arthur by himself. So Arthur does exactly that. He goes in, and Danger Boat says that he's analyzed the shoe and found 5 different places in the sewer where they can actually, where that he's located. And he's printed out a map for Arthur. And then he apologizes to Arthur for what happened. And Arthur's like, "You don't need to apologize. There's no reason to." And he goes, "I hope we're still friends." He goes, "Of course we are. We're still friends." So And once he leaves, we see Dot and Overkill go on their mission. They get into the warehouse where the Duke's human furniture is being stored, and we see a guy, the seller, who's named Raphael. He's on the phone. He's just making all kinds of deals. He's making a deal with somebody about just twin ottomans that are, of course, they're Turkish. And he goes, "I'll even throw in a China dresser." And then I love the pause. He goes, "Do you really have to ask?" Which I thought was just wrong and funny at the same time. And he goes, "Hold on a minute, I have to check something," because Dot is opening up all these all these boxes, and she's deactivating the chips in these people so they can run away. So the seller, Raphael, actually catches her and off guard. He's got a gun out and he shoots at her, but she actually dodges the bullet. And Overkill knocks the guy out, or punches him, grabs him, and he goes, "What was that? You dodged a bullet." And she goes, "I don't know, I don't know what you're talking about," kind of thing. And Raphael said, of course, Overkill asks him where the Duke is, and Raphael says, "You're too late." And he crunches down on a fake tooth, and of course dies from a little bit of cyanide poisoning. And so they're like, "Okay, we need to release all these people," is what Dot says. So they're releasing these people, and Overkill's like, "Wait a minute, I'm taking this guy." And he takes a floor lamp, a human floor lamp. And she's like, "You can't take that guy." He goes, "Yeah, I can." He goes, "I need him for the tech." He goes, "I can track the tech back to the Duke." And that's where we leave off the episode. It was a good Danger Boat moment. We had some fun finding out about Danger Boat, and didn't really move along the main plot, but well, except for Miss Lint. Miss Lint had her little bit of moments going there. Dot has entered the Matrix. Yeah, yeah, it was a fun episode. It was better than the last episode, that's for sure. So, and yes, I do like Overkill being murdery again. He needs to be murdery. That's definitely what he needs to be. I never want to try faux ham. Okay. I'm just gonna ignore Movie Fanobi's stuff because he was just going nuts here. What's going on? So I guess it's just me and you, Viking bitch, and Slurmy. Slurmy's here as well. So Slurmy says, "Just here for the company." So spoil away. Hello, VB, Pepper, and Fanobi. Hello, everybody. So yeah, without murder, Overkill is just mopey. Exactly. Slurmy Scott says 950 beans counted from Game of Thrones review. Will this be the first? I think I actually have one and already went over 1,000. Slurmy, I can't remember offhand. I think it was the no, it wasn't the blowjob one. Blowjob Before Dying, the Future Man season 1. It was just because of the title. Quite honestly, people just kept clicking on it. It was pretty damn funny, I thought. So, how rude. Well, Moo Fanobi, you kind of did you have a lot of sugar or something, or a lot of caffeine? I mean, you're about as rambunctious as the 5-year-old that is just down the stairs from me here. Only you have a computer. Vacuum says, "How can you ignore Fanobi? He is irresistible." Oh my god, please. Yeah, don't get me started. My stomach is full. I will blow chunks all over the screen. Ah, man. Anyway, so with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the like button. You can also hit the dislike button. I just asked that if you go below in the comment section and give me some constructive criticism about what you didn't like. Yeah, you have 3 people over on the Game of Thrones one that just hit dislike for God knows what reason. I have no idea, but hey, thanks. You can also hit the bell to let you know when I'm going to be on live again. It's got a 50-50 chance of working. If you've already clicked it, don't click it again. You can go into the settings though and get as many notices or as few notices as you want. Movie for notices, I'm hitting the dislike button tonight twice. Good. Slurmy, I don't know if that's love in the air. I think it's just Old Spice. Maybe some Drakkar Noir, something like that. If you're still on the fence about joining up here, you can take a look. There's going to be a video up in this section. You can see it's going to pick one video from my video library that meets, basically, that kind of looks at all the stuff that you've been looking at, picks the best analogy to it, and plucks it from my video library and plucks it up there. If you like what you see, then you can hit the subscribe button. That's going to be over here. My schedule is up on my webpage, suspendedfanimation.com. It's also on my Facebook page. I have a Twitter and I also have an Instagram as well. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, God, like I said, it's been a long day. Wednesdays is going to be happy. Thursday is iZombie. It's the final season of iZombie. Fridays is Doom Patrol. This Saturday, I'm actually preempting Saturday Morning Blast Off. Saturday Morning Blast Off is usually where I take the genre news of the week and talk about that and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. It's usually the free for all, but it is free comic book day this Friday. It is also May the 4th, which is, Star Wars Day and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to go to free comic book day. So there's a big event going on and all that kind of stuff. So I am preempting that one just for this week. And Sunday, of course, is Game of Thrones. Man, I am not getting into this, Stormy. I really am not. You said the L word? Is what movie nobody says? Okay. So, with that said, and the craziness that's in the chat, and how loopy I am at the moment, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. Thank you all for joining me in the chat, especially Viking Bitch, Slurmy Scott, and Movie Fanobi. Even, Fanobi. There we go. And yes, thank you for putting up the Twitter there, Movie Fanobi. What else can I say? Take a look at the videos. Hit the subscribe button over there. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get stuck in a boat that has PTSD and is going to raise the internal temperature to 1800 degrees and just incinerate everything on the inside. Thanks, everyone. Good night.